Two dudes and a cage. We are back again with the first event of the year. Well, the first numbered event anyway. UFC 283. I know I say this a lot, but this card is stacked. There's a ton of fights with good fighters on it. Let's get into it so we don't waste your time. What do we got first?
Well, first, welcome to Brazil. It's been a while. Finally out of the United States, going back to Brazil. And the first fight we got is Saimon Oliveira versus Daniel Marcos. Marcos is 13-0, and he's got good striking and good wrestling. He won a contract back in September on the Contender Series. Oliveira, he's 18-4. He's got good jiu-jitsu and pretty good striking. He did lose his UFC debut, but I think he matches up well with Marcos. But I think Marcos is going to get this one done. It's going to be a good test for both of them, but Marcos gets his hand raised.
Man, dude, this is such an interesting opener. Like, both these guys have like legit records. Saimon, 5 KOs, 11 subs. Man, he's got a ton of first round finishes. He's a 6'4" bantamweight. Like, that's crazy. I was telling people in my gym about this last night. I'm like, dude, 6'4" and he's a bantamweight. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, man. He's never been finished. Daniel has 7 KOs. He's on a 19-fight win streak. He's never lost a fight. 13-0 as a pro. This dude, I remember, was getting lots of hate on Contender Series. They were saying, oh, he's from Peru. Peru doesn't have that good of competition, that high level world. He's probably going to get run through here because of that. And dude just came on and just put a fucking dominant performance on. And even though Simon's never been finished, I think Daniel is going to get his hand raised too, man. Saimon, it'll be a good test. He lost his UFC debut. He has 4 losses already. He's lost to some good competition, where Daniel's on that 19-fight win streak, never lost. I think he's really hungry. I think he's going to come for it. He's going to get his hand raised. I agree. Man, next up, Josiane Nunes versus Farin. Sorry about them names. Josiane is 9-1. She's got 7 KOs. The only thing I don't like about her is she fights like once a year. There was like 1 year where she had a couple of fights, but she pretty much only fights 1 a year, and it's really inactive. Zarah, she's French, so her name's probably like Sarah or something like that. She's got 4 KOs. She's coming off of 2 losses. Her last fight was in 2020. She's pretty inactive as well. I think Josiane's going to win this one, just because of the inactivity. 2 losses in a row for Sarah. I'm just not seeing her getting a win out of here. What do you think, Matt?
They're both featherweights, so it is hard to get fights. But
True.
1 in a year, 1 in 2 years is a little less active. I do agree. Zarah is 0-2 in the UFC, so she really needs this one, especially in that division.
Mm-hmm.
She's a striker, but she has a tendency to keep her head on that center line, and I think that's going to give Nunes the opportunity to get a KO. Nunes is a striker. She's got great power.
Yeah.
She's 5'2". Like, she's basically the female Tank Davis in that division. She's got that power, can knock you out. She lands 7 strikes per minute. So I just think she's going to overwhelm Zarah, and she's going to get it done early. I'm going to say second round. Next fight, we got the welcome back fight. We got Warlley Alves versus Nicolas Dalby.
Yeah.
Alves hasn't fought since June of 2021. His last fight, he lost. He's a good kickboxer. He's got good jiu-jitsu. And Dalby is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. And he's a green belt in Ashihara karate.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Dalby's more of a pace fighter than he is a knockout fighter. So he keeps up that good pace, which is good for him. But the last time Alves has taken a year more off after a loss, he came back and won. And I think he's going to keep that streak. So I'm going with Alves by decision.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I like what you said about Warlley, how he's got the green belts in karate. Usually green belts like kind of a lower rank, so I wonder, like, it's kind of a weird stat if like that's something he's like newly into or what. Brown belt and BJJ. Oh fuck, god damn, fucking all up today. Dalby is the green belt in karate, brown belt in BJJ. He's got 6 KOs, 4 subs. Warlley's got 4 KOs, 6 subs. The only thing I don't like about Warlley is he wins, lose lately. He keeps going back and forth. I'm honestly kind of having a hard time picking Alves winning this fight, and I'm leaning a little bit more towards Dalby on this one. But I think this one could go either way. I think it's really close. Honestly, this is one I probably won't even bet on. I would just enjoy this fight for what it is. That's just me.
It's a fan fight right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, right, right. And I think this is a good matchup. These two are gonna bring it. They're gonna put it on an entertaining fight. So you won't have to put some money on it to make it even more exciting for you. All right, man. I like these two young guys coming up, but it's Ismael Bonfim versus Terrance McKinney. The Bonfim brothers were both on last season of Dana White Contender Series. Ismael has 8 KOs, 4 subs. This is his UFC debut. Man, they didn't give him an easy fight for that either against Terrance McKinney, who's got 5 KOs, 8 subs, purple belt in BJJ. He's an NJCAA wrestler, which is like a junior college wrestler. Plus, Terrance McKinney was a 2-time high school state champ wrestler. You know, I really like the Bonfim brothers, so like it makes me want to lean towards picking them. I honestly think Ismael is not quite as good as his brother Gabriel, and with it being his UFC debut against Terrance McKinney, I see Terrance walking away with the win here. Honestly, I'm rooting for Ismael, but I have a hard time picking him. Honestly,
Yeah, the Bonfim brothers kind of remind me of the Luan brothers. Like Joe was
yeah,
the more talented and Dan was just like the grinder. And I feel like Ismael fits that grinder personality. But he's got a tough one in T-Rex. McKinney called out, top 10 guys. And I feel like they gave him this fight to see if he's ready because he is a little bit younger. He's got great wrestling and his striking improves every single fight. He's really good at MMA wrestling, especially with his college, junior college background, which the GOAT is a junior college wrestler. So
right, right.
you can't dismiss that. But I feel like McKinney's got the edge just in the overall aspect, and that's why I think he's going to get this one done.
Yeah, I really liked like McKinney's background. Like he was like a military brat. He lived in Germany for a while. Then he moved out to Washington, I think, and like he got picked on a lot, and that's how he got into sports. And he probably just didn't have the opportunity to go to a big college. And yeah, like you said, who cares that it was a junior college, and why it really it's probably not even necessary to make that distinction. If you're wrestling at the collegiate level, you still wrestled at the collegiate level.
Yeah, a lot of JUCO wrestlers had issues, like it could be grades or something that kept them from not going to a D2 or a D1 school.
Exactly. There's many things.
Yeah. Next fight, it's an interesting one. Like the matchup, you got Luan Lacerda versus Cody Stamann. This is Lacerda's debut fight, and Cody Stamann's had a few in the UFC already. But Lacerda's 12-1. He's a jiu-jitsu fighter, and Stamann is a wrestler with a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I think in this fight, if Cody wants to win, he's got to keep it standing, which kind of it gives him a disadvantage since he is a really good wrestler. He's got good chain wrestling, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Lacerda's going to either get taken down and then in transition, he's going to catch Stamann, or he's going to get a trip and get Stamann down. But I think Lacerda is going to get the submission in the second round.
Yeah, dude. Luan Lacerda's got 10 subs. He hasn't lost since 2014. I might not have heard you correct, but Luan is a BJJ black belt. I'm sure. Yeah, okay. It was Cody is the blue belt. Yep. He's got really solid takedowns, and he's got really stamina. Luan is said to be one of the next big prospects. Dude's really good. They're saying he could do great things in this sport. He's been a pro for a long time. He hasn't lost for a long time. Cody, he's got 7 KOs and 2 subs. So right, that kind of shows you where he likes to keep the fight. He's better at standing. He's only a blue belt in BJJ. He was an NCAA Division II wrestler. Cody has faced a lot of high-level competition, but he's lost to all of them. He's lost to Aljamain Sterling, Said Nurmagomedov, Merab Delish. Luan obviously isn't that caliber yet, but they're saying he's gonna be. So I just don't see Cody getting this one over Luan. I think his grappling is going to be too experienced for him. He's going to get a takedown. As long as he doesn't get knocked out in the process, Luan will get the finish for sure. Yeah. Next up. Yeah, for sure. The other Bonfim brothers, Gabriel Bonfim versus Mounir Lazzez. Gabriel has 3 KOs, 10 subs, Dana White Contender Series, UFC debut. He is undefeated at 13-0. Mounir has 8 KOs. What's crazy about this guy is he has like ties to like the Arab cartel crime syndicate. Like this guy, one of the guys has like a millions of dollar bounty on his head, or I can't remember the number. It might not be that high, but like there's like a bounty on this guy's head that he's got close connections to, and they're like wanting information on him. I'm like, damn. This dude is a striker, but he's kind of well rounded. I think it should be a good test for Gabriel. But unlike his brother Ismael, I'm picking Gabriel to win this one.
I gotta go through my notes because I had like his brother fights on the early prelims. We've already stated that. Like you said, Gabriel has very, very slick jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he's got good grappling transitions. And Mounir has great takedown defense. I want to say, 71% takedown defense.
That's good.
And he's a good striker. He's got 7.4 significant strikes landed per minute. Gabriel has 6.17, so he's not afraid to strike. I think this is going to be more of a stand-up fight, and I think Bonfim's going to close the distance, get in, and he's going to be able to get this one done. All right. Next fight, we got Shamil Adburakhimov versus Jailton Almeida.
Yep.
Almeida is a monster. He's a heavy favorite, -900.
Yeah, dude.
I think he's pretty sure he's the biggest favorite on this card.
Probably.
It's a fair assessment. He's got very strong takedowns. He's very strong jiu-jitsu for a heavyweight. He can hold his own on his feet. He's got a few KOs, and he does well mixing all three of those aspects up, especially at heavyweight. You think stand and bang, and he's like, no, I'm gonna take you down. Shamil, he's on a little slide. He's a wrestler and a kickboxer, and he's lost his last 3 fights by TKO. Unfortunately, I got this one. He's going to be on a 4-fight streak, losing streak, maybe cut.
Probably get released.
Yeah, I think he's going to get released. I think Almeida's going to get this done, and he'll be on I think 3-fight. I think he's on 2-fight now. I think he's going to keep that alive and go a 3-fight win streak, maybe crack the top 10.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment, wholly. Shamil's got 9 KOs, 4 subs. He's a wushu and karate kickboxing master. He's from Dagestan, so he should be able to wrestle, but I don't think he ever does. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, like you said. Man, Halton, 6 KOs, 11 subs. Dude, he's well-rounded. He looks for a takedown, ground and pound you. He was a light heavyweight. He moved up to heavyweight. I don't know. Did he struggle with weight or something? I'm not sure why he moved up to heavyweight.
I think he moved up because he would be faster than most of them.
Drain too much out of him, cutting and maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good. He looks like lean and cut. He doesn't have like extra fat on him, and it seems to me like Halton's the big underdog. I think he'll probably run through Shamil like he has his last few opponents. It seems to me like they're kind of padding Halton a little bit. They're giving him these easier fights. Like, dude's on a 3-fight losing streak. Halton's like running through dudes. It seems like they should give him some higher competition at this point. But like, he ran through Parker Porter at heavyweight. These guys aren't really like that high class level yet. So maybe they're just unsure if he's ready to move up to the next level. But I think he'll soon for sure.
I think if he wins this, they're gonna have to give him a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
Gotta test him.
See where he's at. Yeah, that makes sense to me too. So
yeah.
This next fight, not to be mistaken with Thiago Moses, but with an I, versus Melquizael Costa. Man, I like that Costa guy, man. Thiago, he's got 3 KOs, 7 subs. He's got a ton of good experience and a ton of high-level organizations, LFA, RFA. He's a BJJ black belt. He trained at American top team. Costa got 7 KOs, 6 subs. He's from the LFA. I watch every LFA event every time they come on. I really like the LFA, except for Ron Kruk. He annoys the shit out of me. For Costa, man, I really want this guy to win this fight, but I'm just unsure he's gonna do it against Thiago. I'm really rooting for Costa. I just don't see him winning this fight, honestly. Dude's really good. He's really well rounded. He brings the fight every time. But Thiago is really experienced. He's been in the UFC. He's beat some good guys. I think it's just almost maybe too tough of a matchup for Costa.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I see. I agree with you that Thiago, he has the advantage, but I think Costa's power. I think that's going to be the difference in this one.
I hope he wins, bro. I really do. I hope Costa wins. I've seen him his last few fights, and I'm like, dude, this dude's for real. So I'm rooting for Costa. So it's hard. It's hard for me to like to pick a guy and bet on him when I like him. I tend to stay away from it because I don't want my feelings to influence who I bet on. like I'm from Wisconsin. I never bet on the Green Bay Packers. Never. Like that last game, they were playing Detroit at home. I was talking to my uncle, and he's like, "Oh, they're at home all day, and if they win, they get in the playoffs." He's like, "Oh, I'd take that action all day." They got fucking stomps, you know. So that just goes to prove a point. Like, you never pick that team that you like that. So I just don't do it in fighting either.
The best betting advice is don't bet on your friends or your favorites.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they lose, you're mad twice because you lost money and they lost.
Right, right.
All right, so we've had 2 fights so far that we're split on, which is interesting.
And I could go either way on them, honestly.
Yeah, I could see like Thiago winning, but with Costa's power, I think that's gonna be the difference, especially with the way these judges are. He hits him a few times, gets him shook up a little bit. I think the judge is gonna see it differently. It's sad you have to make predictions and factor in the judges and not just the skills.
For sure.
Next fight we got Gregory Rodrigues versus Bruno Ferreira. Tell you what, Bruno is he reminds me of like Paulo Costa and Yoel Romero, like with his body stature. Looks like a Greek god.
I wish I looked like that. Shit.
Yeah. He's a power puncher. Like, I mean, just looking at him, you're like, oh yeah, I could see that. But he's also got good jiu-jitsu. He's 9-0, but I think that Gregory is going to test him in areas that will be good for Bruno in the long run. Rodrigues, he's got decent grappling, he's got good striking, and he's more of like a pressure fighter. He does combinations, and punches and bunches. And I think at the beginning, Bruno's gonna struggle with that, but he's gonna get his timing down and he's gonna get it done. So Bruno for the win.
Gregory, man, he's got 7 KOs, 4 subs. He's a BJJ black belt. He was the LFA middleweight champion, actually. He's also an 8-time BJJ champion. Bruno, 6 KOs, 3 subs. He's undefeated. He's a BJJ black belt who's also a BJJ national champion. Man, I had a hard time picking a lot of these fights, man. I feel like there's a ton of good matchups on this card. I really like how the matchmaking is going. Like, like 7 KOs, 6 KOs, 4 subs, 3 subs, national champ. Man, who's ever doing the matchmaking at the UFC is doing a really well job. I know it's like a combination of a few guys. I'm just really digging it for this card.
Me too. Like going through, I'm like, wow, these guys match up really well.
Perfectly. Yeah. Instead of like a lot of the local cards you see, it's totally one-sided. Like your boy Tim Baser says, most of the time, 90% of the fighters in the red side are gonna win. It's kind of lame. Another coach in the area calls it the homeboy hookup. He's been posting a lot on Facebook lately. Another lopsided card, another one-sided mismatch. This dude's he won't call out nobody directly, but he's like, this dude's got a lot of potential and he's fighting a fucking bum again. You see it all the time, and it's like, dude, you're fighting a guy, padding your record. You're not going to get into the UFC like that. They're going to look at the level of competition you fought and be like, you ain't fought nobody. What?
You even see it in Bellator and PFL.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the UFC, some guys they'll give a favorable matchup to, and they're like, if they want to build them up, like Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor, Paddy Pimblett. Exactly. But they get 1, maybe 2, and then they get thrown the wolves.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's how it should be, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Dana said, the best fight the best,
Yeah. And that's what helps UFC build, where boxing is, stifling and
Right. It's more of a sham, handpicking every opponent.
yeah.
The fighter has a lot of say in who they fight. I like we talked about with Miranda, that you get offered a fight and basically take it or leave it. And
Yeah.
unless you're like champion top 5, you may get a couple of opponents where you get to choose from. But still, it's at that top 5 level, none of them are going to be easy for you.
Exactly.
We're divided on this one. I think Gregory's going to win.
Oh, we don't talk about Bruno and the Charles household.
No, I could see another fight. I could see going either way. I wish I had the odds pulled up so I know. I'm pretty sure these guys were pretty close.
Yeah. Gregory's a plus 185 and Bruno's a minus 215. So slight favorite for Bruno.
Yeah. It's not a close pick 'em, but
Wait till we get to the co-main event. I'll read off those odds.
right, I remember that. Yeah, like the Lauren Murphy, those. Yeah. There's a couple of
Yeah.
interesting. So Bruno might be the favorite. So I'm picking a lot of underdogs on this fight. And usually when I do that, it kind of backfires on me. So Bruno might be the better pick, honestly.
But this would be the card, because a lot of these, there's a couple that I don't see going one way, but there's a lot of these fights I could see either way.
Yeah.
And you can tell with the odds which ones. Like if they're a 50-point difference, you're like, I could bet on that one and be okay.
Ooh, next up, we got the retirement fight. It's probably, I'm just kidding. I don't think it is. For Mauricio Shogun Hua versus Ior Patera. Man, Shogun is still fighting after all these years, man. That's crazy. Well, what I find interesting about Shogun, he's got 21 KOs and only 1 sub on his record, even though he's a BJJ black belt. He's also got a black parade, which is an armband in Muay Thai, which is how it should be said. He's legit because he's not called a black belt in Muay Thai. So I'm really appreciating they have that correctly for Shogun, which means he's a real Muay Thai traditionalist, which coming from a Muay Thai background, I love myself. He's had over 40 pro fights. He's the former UFC champion. He's on a 2-fight loss streak. He lost to OSP. He lost to Paul Craig. I believe Paul Craig TKO'd him.
Yeah.
At which Paul Craig submits guys. Ior, on the other hand, has 7 KOs, 7 subs, very well-rounded. He's also coming off a loss. He really doesn't go for a lot of takedowns. So I'm seeing this more be a stand-up match, honestly. And being more of a stand-up match, even though Shogun has that black belt level, I think he's got a better chance winning at the stand-up. Forrest Griffin submitted Shogun back in the day,
Oh yeah.
He's kind of susceptible on the ground game. I think Shogun, even though how much I love him, he was in Pride. He was, he's been around forever. Since I've been a fan of MMA. I think his time is just coming to an end. I think Ior is gonna win this fight. Honestly, he's probably gonna get a knockout too. That's just what I'm seeing.
I got 3 points to highlight from what you said. One, I don't know if it's his retirement fight, but it's got to be one of his last.
It gotta be.
And it'd be a perfect ending, win or lose, in Brazil. It'd be a perfect ending for him.
For sure.
He's long in the tooth. He's 41. He's been fighting over 2 decades.
Years, yeah.
Yeah. I think he has the edge on the feet, but I think what screws him is Father Time catches up with everyone, and he's been a little bit slower than usual in his last fights. And I think that's what allows Eeyore to get it done. And I think, I hate to say it, but I think Rue is gonna end up on his back and he's gonna get TKO'd.
Yeah, I do too.
Shogun is awesome. I remember when he fought Machida back in 2007 or 8 for the title, and he was winning that whole fight, and he lost by decision, and they did an immediate rematch, and he KO'd Machida, and that was when Machida was like 21-0.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he lost to John Jones, but still, he was the champ. Next fight, the first fight on the main card is definitely one to bring in the people. We got Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker. And, last fight with Johnny Walker, we mentioned that he hasn't been the same since he blew out his shoulder. And I feel like that is always going to be the best way to beat Walker, is hit him early, get him to second guess himself. If he gets in his rhythm, it's going to be a long night for anyone. But Craig is got power, but he's more of a grappler. And back to Walker, he's going to get it done. I'm going with it.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Paul Craig.
I even tell you what, I'm going to say it's a second round KO.
Okay. You think he's going to make a comeback, huh?
I do. It's Brazil. Just no worm. If you win, Johnny Walker, I know you listen to our show. If you win, don't do the worm.
Man, dude, please, bro. Jesus. I personally think we're not going to have to worry about that, though. Paul Craig, he's got 3 KOs, 13 subs, BJJ black belt. He's the Scottish dude that everybody knows. Man, what I don't like about Paul Craig is he pulls guard, man. Pulling guard in an MMA fight is kind of weak, if you ask me. But to each his own, he gets the job done. Dude, Paul Craig beat Jamal Hill. So if that tells you anything.
Johnny Walker lost to Jamal Hill.
And Johnny Walker lost to Jamal Hill. I know MMA math doesn't add up. Johnny, on the other hand, pretty much the opposite of Paul, where he's got 15 KOs and 3 subs. He is a brown belt in BJJ. He's had some chin issues that have been a little bit of worry lately. I think they're giving Johnny some more favorable matchups with some grappling oriented fighters instead of striking oriented, because they're tired of seeing him get knocked out. Ian could have knocked him out easily, but he ended up submitting him. He put, like you said, he put the pressure on him and got the finish. Man, I the way Paul Craig fights has me worried a little bit. But I think if he pushes it towards Johnny, tries to get a takedown and does get a takedown, he very well could win this fight. But like you said, if Johnny keeps him off of him, he finds his groove. He very well could finish Paul Craig, just because of how Paul Craig fights. He's only looking to get down to the ground. You might not see that in this fight, because if his coaches or anybody did proper tape study on him, they know you can knock him out. All you got to do is land that one clean shot on him. Hopefully Paul Craig tries to strike with him a little bit, and just doesn't flop down to the ground and say, "Come on down here, bro." Johnny Walker's gonna be like, "Nope."
Yeah, I think because Walker changed gyms. He went to SBG Ireland with Kavanaugh and Rudy and Connor. And I think that helps him and his confidence level. Like, we've seen it in the last fight, but if Craig can catch him with a clean shot, even to just rock him, everything, Walker's talent and everything just goes out the window.
Yeah.
And then he gets, chin high, gets a little chinny once he gets hit. And
Yeah.
God, I remember his first fight was in Brazil, and he came out like, stripping, like he was a stripper. I became a fan. It was awesome.
Because he was a stripper?
No, like
I'm
the
just
yeah, because he was a stripper. No, but his energy and just like
Yeah. Yeah. He
and
did.
he did the backflip and he did the worm, and then his second or third fight in, he did the worm, and he was like, I blew up my shoulder, Joe. And
He
that
does
was the end of
come
it.
out like hyped up for sure.
Yeah. And it's 6'3" Brazilian. How can you go wrong?
Right. Right. Yeah. Especially fighting in Brazil. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard going against him.
So we're split on 3.
This next fight, pretty sure we're gonna pick the same fighter on this one. Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade. Lauren Murphy's got 8 KOs, 1 sub. She's a BJJ brown belt. She fought Valentina for the title, even though it was a little one-sided. Jessica, she's got 9 KOs, 8 subs. She can finish you anywhere. She was a former champ. She's a BJJ black belt. Man, she's really tough. She's really aggressive. She doesn't play around in there, which I think is bad for Lauren Murphy. I think Jessica's always looking to come forward. She hits hard. She's just always bringing it, pushing the pace. I think Lauren's gonna be in trouble. I really do. Lauren's been training with Miranda Maverick and Raquel Pennington. Raquel Pennington just got a win. So she's really trying to step up her game. I just don't think I don't the odds are pretty lopsided. It's like 400 and 300 last time I checked.
Yeah.
I just don't think she stands a chance against Jessica. I think she's going to get finished one way or another.
I think Miranda would be the perfect training partner to mimic Andrade's style, just because the pure strength. Last time Andrade fought in Brazil was against Rose for the title, where she KO'd her by slam, which, is a technical mistake on the other half because she was losing that fight, but can't take that away. She was the former champion. She had a good fight against Valentina, and I think she wants to redeem herself because Valentina is just a whole different animal.
Right.
I just think her strength and her pace is gonna do Lauren Murphy not so well. Andrade's just too strong, and she's not big enough for 135. She's just right at 125, and gosh, she's a monster.
Yeah.
If there was no Valentina, she'd probably be champion and hold it for a while.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure.
All right, this next fight, we got Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. This one, it was tough for me. Magny is a very, very talented fighter. He's currently ranked number 12. Duranio's ranked number 5. So it's a good matchup. But Gilbert Burns is just so powerful and he's so strong. And yes, he lost to Hamza, maybe. But I feel like he's gonna have used this fight as I'm back, and it was a fluke type. So unfortunately, with Magny, he's unorthodox and he throws strikes from many different angles, which helps him, especially his 9-inch reach advantage on most fighters. But I'm gonna have to go against my Army brother, and I got to pick Burns in this one.
Yeah.
I will be rooting Magny though.
Nice. The thing about the Burns Hamzat fight is he didn't really decisively lose. Like Hamzat just steamrolls everybody.
Yeah.
And their fight was super close. It was a really good fight. They were fucking trading hard ass shots. There's nothing to be ashamed of in that fight.
No.
It was an amazing fight. Gilbert got paid his win money, even though he lost. Like, that's how good the fight was.
I think that one is one of the most common. Like, it could have went either way.
Sure.
That should be like the pinnacle fight of, if they want to judge go either way, watch that fight.
Right. It could have went either way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gilbert Burns, 6 KOs, 8 subs. He's a third degree BJJ black belt. He's a world champion. Dude is known for his BJJ, but turned into a striker. Now everybody knows him for being a crazy hard striker. And they forgot all about his BJJ, which is crazy. He comes forward, he hits hard, he's got a good chin, he can take a shot, he's got good cardio. Neil Magny, 7 KOs, 4 subs, BJJ brown belt. He was a collegiate wrestler. He played collegiate football. He was an Army veteran, like you said, and he was even deployed to Kuwait. Got to have respect for him for that. The only thing I don't like about Neil is he's kind of timid when he fights. He kind of sits back and looks for opening and just kind of pumps his jab a lot. I don't think that's stylistically a good matchup for Gilbert. I think Gilbert's just gonna kind of come at him and overpressure him, and it's gonna be bad for Neil. Neil's gonna try and push him off of him and try and make him slow down. And that usually works after a few times with a lot of fighters when Neil defends you and gets you away and gets back to his style of fight. But I think Gilbert's not going to stop. He's just going to keep coming at him, and he's going to get the win that way.
Yeah, when he fought, I know he got the Darce choke on Rodrigues last fight, but I want to say it was a while. I think it was Chiesa when he fought him. Magny, he is a counter striker, but he could never find he always waits to counter off of your rhythm and then turn it into his momentum. And I feel like with Gilbert's style of, you hit me, I'm going to still run forward towards you, I don't think he's going to be able to find it. And I think this fight's going to be a good one, but it's not going to look as close as it could be.
For sure. Yep. Gilbert's getting the win.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Neil. I'm sorry. But
all right, bro. All right, man. The co-main event. Champ versus interim champ. You've seen these guys fight. This is their 4th fight. It's a record for people fighting 4 times in the UFC. Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. Deiveson is the champ. He's got 9 KOs, 8 subs. It should show you how well-rounded he is. He's a BJJ black belt. He trains with Henry Cejudo. He's stepping up his game then. Brandon Moreno, he's the interim champ. 4 KOs, 11 subs, BJJ black belt. Man, they're both really well-rounded, honestly. Moreno's been trying to change his game up, man. He's a great boxer. He's got really good boxing skills. His hands are in more of a boxing stance, kind of like Sean Strickland has a straight boxing kind of thing going on. Moreno's hands are more open now. He was training with James Krause. There's a big James Krause scandal. If you don't know about betting, makes me kind of want to stay away from betting, honestly. Even though I don't have ties in the game like he is. He's now training at Cobrina in Las Vegas under Hector Vasquez. A lot of people think Moreno should have won the last fight. I think Moreno's gonna win this fight as well. Honestly, I think sometimes Moreno can tend to be drawn into a slugging match, and that has been seen in the previous fights with Davis and Figueiredo. Hopefully they don't just start swinging it out and just get into a big brawl. Moreno needs to use his head, be decisive about his movements, what he's doing. He's really good. He's really good at takedown defense, and then getting into the 50-50 position and recovering from it, and getting back on his feet. I see the same thing kind of playing out, and I really hope to see Moreno be the champion.
You know, this is a great fight. We've said it the last, 3 times. I could watch him fight again.
Right.
I think the loser is going to have to roll off a pretty wild streak to get a title shot against the winner again, just because it is the 4th time. Moreno is the only one to have a finish between the two. He did finish Figueiredo for his win, and then he lost via split decision after the first one. That was a draw. Do you think the change in camps is going to affect Moreno?
I think it's going to be for the better, honestly. Plus it's not like he lost that knowledge he got from James Krause. It's not like he's like still learning how to punch and kick. He's a top level fighter, and he went to James Krause, and James Krause probably did a data dump on him with everything he's doing wrong and gave him all the information he already needed, and you can kind of see that, and he applied that in the Kai Kara-France fight. So I think he still has all that knowledge that he got from Krause. Plus now he's training at another new gym. He's getting more knowledge dumped on him from Hector Vasquez. So he's just continuing to learn and build off of the championship material that he already is. The thing about that is, like, Davidson's doing the same thing, training with Cejudo now. And Henry Cejudo has not only proven that he's a world-class athlete, he's a world-class coach as well. Like, dude knows how to coach fighters. Like, he may be a cocky little shit, but he knows what he's talking about. So he has the right to be cocky, honestly. He's an Olympic champion, all of that. He's got the credentials.
Yeah, if you break this fight down, like, power, it goes to Figueiredo. Speed goes to Moreno. Strength goes to Figueiredo. Like, technical footwork goes to Moreno. The odds are -110, -110. This is a fight that is, even the odds makers don't know who's going to win.
They go either way.
Yeah, and they've fought 3 times before, but even if you look at other fighters that have fought a fighter before, you could tell the action isn't there because they know these 2 guys, this is like the first time. They just go at it. I think Moreno is going to get it done and be the champ again.
Yeah.
Baby assassin. And then I think Figueiredo is going to, go back. It's going to win 3 or 4, and then we're going to have a 5th one mid next year, maybe.
I hope not, honestly.
No, I think after this, it's going to have to be we know you're, the number 2 guy, but you're going to have to wait until there's a new number 1.
Yeah.
And it's going to be for both of them, not just Figueiredo. If Moreno's going to have the same thing if he loses.
And it'll be for the best, it's kind of time for the division to move on, just like with Francis Ngannou getting released from, he held the division long enough. It's time for somebody else to get their shot. It's time.
Yeah. They waited to see, is your injury healed? It is. Well, let's get you a fight. You don't want to fight. Okay, you don't have the belt.
Right. And that's how.
Yeah, that's how it has to be. Can't hold it up.
Not everybody has the I don't know the word I'm looking for. Not everybody is like Jiri and will relinquish the belt because of injury and not hold it up and say I'm the champ.
Yeah.
He's definitely got a lot of respect from a lot of people for doing that.
Yeah, great segue, by the way, because we are round 2 of the vacant light heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Round 1 ended as a draw, which Joe Rogan's getting some backlash when he was honest with his opinion at the end of the fight when Blachowicz said, give him the belt. He goes, I agree.
Right.
Having your own opinion nowadays. Teixeira versus Jamil Hill. They were slated to fight the last card where Blachowicz versus Ahmed Akamagbar.
Yeah.
Magomed, yeah. He turned it down because Jamil is a different animal. He has a similar style to Yuri, but he mixes wrestling and grappling and his striking well. Do we have another Cinderella story? Is Glover gonna be the oldest light heavyweight champion, breaking his record of being the oldest light heavyweight champion? Or is the young gun gonna get it done? Hill is a very, very slight favorite, minus 125 to a plus 105. And I think that's fair. You got to add in age, speed. Also, you have to add in, he's never done a 5-round fight. So that could be a disadvantage, but he's got the power. Teixeira's got the age. Hill's got the belt. And new. Jamal Hill, what do you got?
Okay, man. Glover has got 18 KOs, 10 subs. He's a second-degree black belt. He's a fifth-degree black belt in Kajinbu. It's a mixture of striking, kicking, throwing, takedowns, joint locks. It's some kind of Hawaiian mixed martial arts, karate style type of thing. Jamal Hill has 7 KOs, despite what everybody says. He's not a blue belt. He's a BJJ brown belt. He's proven that on Insta lately, showing off his brown belt, telling everybody to set the record straight. He was a former basketball player, maybe at the collegiate level or something like that. So dude's really athletic. Honestly, the only thing, like you said, the only thing I'm worried about for Glover is his age. He might be a little bit slower. Jamal stands a chance because he's young and fast. I don't know. I just don't see why Jamal Hill is fighting for the title. He's ranked number 7. I think you should at least be in like the top 5 to be fighting for a title. The issue with that is there's just no one else to fight for the title, and that's kind of really why. Like everybody else, that's in the top 5 has like either already fought for the title and lost it, like Curtis Blades lost twice to Ngannou, but now that Ngannou's gone, that could be a different thing. There's Derek Lewis, like all those other guys have like they're coming off losses. They're Anthony Smith beat Jamal Hill. Paul Craig, I'm pretty sure beat Jamal Hill, who's on the same card.
Well, Anthony Smith was supposed to fight Hill, and that card got pulled when he was going to fight. And then, so now Anthony Smith helped train him against Glover.
Oh, that's what it was. But
yeah, I'm going to pull up the rankings and see.
Yeah. I don't know. I see why they're doing it because a lot of those guys are coming off losses and whatnot.
So we got Alexander Ratchik is 5, and I think he got injured, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Get to the bottom. Anthony Smith is 6, and I know he lost to Glover before,
Right.
but still, he's 6. He should have got it before the number 7 guy, especially when they were about to fight each other. And
Yeah.
then Magomed and Yuri,
Okay.
Magomed and Jan have already fought.
Right.
Yuri, and I think those two need to fight together again to see who's going to get the next title shot if Yuri's still out.
For sure. That'd be a good idea. Yeah.
I thought Roxic got hurt against Jan. Yeah. He
Oh
tore
yeah, his knee. His
Yeah.
knee. Duh. Yeah. So he's out
I'm a detective.
at least 6 to 8 months, knee injury, probably a year, before he's back to full health. So yeah. So it makes sense like why they're doing it, because all these guys are either injured or they've lost or whatever, you know. Just things like that. I don't know. I just don't think Jamal Hill's ready to be fighting for a title. Jamal Hill is all over Twitter right now. And I know Twitter is for like talking shit and being funny and whatnot, but like dudes look to me, he looks kind of dumb with the just all the stuff he's been saying on Twitter lately. And I know that's like not that big of a deal, like how much time does it really take to send out a tweet, but like dude should be fucking focusing on training, and all his intensity and everything he has should be directed towards that and not talking crap to little girls on Twitter. That's just my opinion. I just I don't know. I feel like he's got like a puncher's chance, and that's about it. And his youth and speed are really the only thing he has going for him against Glover. I think Glover is a better athlete all around on every level. It's just that he's starting to age out of MMA at 41.
42.
42, my bad.
Yeah.
I really think Glover's going to get this one done. I really do, you know.
Yeah, I could see it. I think if it gets to the ground, Glover's gonna win. And I think Glover's gonna have the best chance to take it there.
Yeah.
I feel like he knows, because he can stand and bang against Jamil, but Jamil's gonna be the faster guy. So
yeah. So why would you try to just stand and trade with him?
yeah, this whole card is full of good matchups, interesting like matchups, and fights that you can see it go either way. Like stats wise, Glover should win 9 out of 10 times.
For sure.
And MMA wise, Jamil will win
Exactly.
5 out of 10 times.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So you never know either, too. All it takes is one punch, one takedown to change the whole fight,
Yeah, look at Yuri. Got him down and submitted him in the 5th round.
It's crazy. No one saw that coming at all.
No,
Like
I don't think he saw it coming.
right. They didn't think he'd win that way for sure.
Yeah.
So it really, really could go either way on a lot of these fights. Honestly, that's what makes it interesting, though. That's what makes for good fights.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Oh, kitty, man. Two dudes and a cage
And a cat.
283 and a cat. Man, we're looking forward to it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Please, as always, subscribe to the channel. We're starting to get more followers. We appreciate you. We're trying to get to that 1,000 mark level and beyond. keep watching our videos, keep subscribing, tell your friends about us, hit that like button, comment. We'd like to see some more comments come through and let us know what you think. Either way, if you think we're stupid, don't know what we're talking about, or if you like us, let us know. Let us know how we can improve. If you think we could do better, we'd love to hear your opinion. Two dudes in a cage.
We're out.